Hello everyone, myself Alisha Baba from Asian Law College Noida, and my today's topic of discussion is absolute liability. The concept of absolute liability evolved in India from the case of MC Mehta versus Union in India. The case is also popularly known as the Oleum Gas Leak case. This is one of the historic cases in the Indian judiciary. The concept of MC Mehta that is based upon the principle of strict liability, but with no exceptions given, and the individual is made absolutely liable for all his actions. It is based under this principle that the defendant won't be allowed to plead defense if he or she is found to be liable or if he or she is found to be at fault, as laid down in the case of Rylance versus Fletcher. After the Bhopal gas leak case, so many people lost their lives and were suffering some of the fatal diseases through the generation. So there was an urgent need to bring a rule under strict liability which had no exceptions available to the defendant to escape from the liability. The rule laid down by the Supreme Court that was much wider in concept as laid down by the House of Lords in the case of Rylance versus Fletcher. It was propounded by the Supreme Court that where an enterprise that is engaged in an harmful or a dangerous activity, then any harm caused due to that activity that would be paid or compensated by the enterprise itself. Now let us discuss about the essential elements of absolute liability. The first one being the dangerous thing. As per the rules laid down, the liability of escape of a thing from an individual land will arise only if the thing is found to be dangerous enough. That is, the thing which likely causes damage or injury to that person or property. In various tort cases which have happened all around the world, the doctrine of strict liability has held a large body of water gas, electricity, flagpole, rusty wires, fumes, etc. are certain things which come under the ambit of the dangerous things. Now let us discuss about the second essential element, that is the escape. Anything which has caused damage or mischief should have escaped from the area which was under the control of the defendant to come under the ambit of absolute liability, like it happened in the case of Red versus Lyons and Company, where the plaintiff was working as an employee in the defendant's company, which was engaged in manufacturing shells. The accident happened while she was on her duty that day within the company's premises. It happened when a piece was being manufactured there, it exploded, and due to which the plaintiff suffered harm. So, a case was brought against the defendant for the negligence caused due to him. But the court eventually let go the defendant and gave the verdict that absolute liability is not applicable in this case, as this was declared by the court because the explosion that took place was within the premises of the defendant, and the concept says that it should have escaped the dangerous thing like shell here from the boundaries of the defendant premises, which did not happen and was missing over there. So the negligence on the part of the defendant could not be proved in this case. Now let us go through the next essential element of absolute liability, that is the non-natural use of land. Water collected on land for domestic purposes, that is referred to as the natural use of this land. But if one is storing it in large quantities, as it was in the Rylance and Fletcher's case, then it amounts to the non-natural use of this land. The difference between natural and non-natural use of the land by keeping in mind the surrounding social conditions, as growing of trees and plants on land, that is considered as the natural use of land. But if one start growing trees which are poisonous in nature, it is considered as the non-natural use of the land. If an issue arises between the defendant and plaintiff, even though the defendant is using the land naturally, the court will not hold the defendant liable for his conduct. Now, let us move to the next essential element, that is the mischief. To make the person liable under this principle, the plaintiff at first needs to show that the defendant had made the non-natural use of land and also the escape of the dangerous thing which was on his land, and which resulted to the injury to the plaintiff. In the case of Caring Cross Electric Company versus Hydraulic Power Company, the defendant was assigned to supply water for industrial works, but he was unable to keep their mains charged with a minimum pressure that was required, which led to the bursting of the pipelines at different places. This resulted in causing heavy damage to the plaintiff, which was proved in the court of law as well. The defendants were held liable in spite of towards this that they were not at fault. These are the few rules on which this doctrine of absolute liability is applicable. So to conclude, I would say that though a milestone is achieved when absolute liability is declared as a law by the Supreme Court, but the journey is yet incomplete, and will not reach its destination since or unless a legislation is made. Thank you.